Keep it going for Neck Deep, everybody. I'm going to try to sneak on here, gentlemen. Kevin, nice to meet you, man.
Yeah, the rest of the guys up here.
Yeah, let's. We got to rearrange a little bit, but we are live. Thanks for watching on Billboard or Billboard's Facebook, guys. Also on Periscope right now, we're live. And a little set redesign, I should say.
Yeah. Little set shuffle.
So we get assembled. Let's get everybody up on the whole. Wow, dude, put it there for that shirt. I didn't even see that before. That's awesome. That was like a single, I think, right? That's 9 out of 10 kids prefer crayons to guns. Wow. I think that's the cover art for the Daughter single.
I got it the other day in a record store.
Really? Whereabouts?
What store was it?
It's in Long Island.
Okay, right on.
Yeah.
Some cool record stores out there. If the framing's cool, I think it's time to talk about the music that we just heard, guys. And I actually had never heard that story before. You actually were going to call the record something else before the eventual name, The Peace and the Panic. Can you talk about that story?
Yeah, I found that we were, or at least I was writing a lot of songs about death, and it was all quite grim, and I was kind of thinking about where it is that we kind of go after this, and then in conjunction what our time now means. And so that was kind of like the working progress title. It was all right. None of us were like super struck on it. It didn't really roll off the tongue. It wasn't super catchy. And then The Peace and the Panic just kind of came out of nowhere when I was writing Motion Sickness as a line in that song, and I just thought it was catchy, some alliteration, peace, panic.
Yeah.
Plus, it kind of summed up everything. Whereas Where Do We Go sums up like
death.
half of like what the content is
Yeah.
lyrically. So, The Peace and the Panic definitely sums up the album in full.
Well, I know you guys talk a lot about duality in life on this album, right? And I guess The Peace and the Panic probably serves that theme.
Yeah.
I know it's been a tough couple of years. Can you talk about that theme, the duality, for anyone who's hasn't heard the record yet, or maybe doesn't know where you guys are coming from on this record?
Yeah, for sure. So our previous record, our last release, Life's Not Out to Get You, was very, very positive, almost overly kind of exuberant. Yeah. But that was coming from a place where we were all at the time. We were all going through. Well, we were all living the dream. We were these giddy kids who were stoked that we were in a band, getting to travel the world. And I think over the past 2 years, we've had our fair dose of reality. There's some death in there, some loss, and a lot of up and downs, and got me thinking. It can't always just be positive all the time. Like you said, there's this duality to life. There is the peace and the panic. You can't have one without the other. And it was kind of that realization that bad things happen, but it's usually for a reason, and it's usually kind of it's all kind of it's all part of a story. It's all part of your particular journey. So still fairly positive. Still a fairly positive kind of statement. That the good comes with the bad, but it's just kind of accepting that and kind of growing up and kind of realizing that you can't always have it all, and it's really about how you deal with the panic. That kind of determines the outcome of the piece, I guess.
Yeah. Well, and like you said during the performance, right, in classic Neck Deep fashion, turning negatives into positives, Exactly. Speaking of positives, I can't say enough positive things about In Bloom. That is like my favorite. I got to talk to you guys about this. You played it here. I got to talk to you about the song. The video dropped on YouTube on Sunday. I think Daniel Carter over in your neck of the woods, he premiered it on his rock show over the BBC. That's so cool. What can you tell me about the making of In Bloom? Because I think that it's
funny, actually. It was actually like the first song that we had for the whole record. Like that song, well, it was actually half the song. It was a song that Ben had been writing, and it was kind of the first verse up to the end of the first chorus, and it didn't really change at all. We had that back in like the kind of winter of 2015, and so we were all sat on that for like over a year. You know what I mean? Like we had that demo, and then much later on, when it came to actually thinking about doing a new record, we opened that up and ended up finishing it, and Sam kind of came involved, and we wrote the second half of it. But it's crazy. That's the one we had the longest, and I feel like usually the song that you've had the longest is the one that you kind of are least stoked on, just because you get familiar with it, and
it's always
granted,
right?
Yeah, it's always the newest thing that's the most exciting. Whereas that song, even though it was the first thing we had, I remember even when we were in the studio, it was kind of like we all kind of knew that was one that we were really excited about, and I think even now that the record's out, it's still most of ours probably favorite, if not one of the favorites from the record. And I guess it's just a testament to the song, I guess. Like we just really love it, even though it's like been around for a long time.
That's
for
like
us.
a star-making song. And then the video to go. I know they're heavy words, and I'm being serious, man. When I saw that video, I was just like, whoa.
The video's sick, yeah.
Who came up with the concept for the video?
That was all on Lewis, I think.
Lewis. We had some like kind of visual ideas that we ran
but the whole like concept generally was this guy, the guy called the director Lewis Cater.
Lewis did a great job.
But he kind of came to us with this concept, and the video aesthetically and visually is like totally different from anything else we've done. We do pretty generic videos in the past where it's kind of like a lot of fast camera, a lot of like steady cam stuff, and it's all very, fast and action packed. And we wanted to strip it back, and the decision to go with Lewis kind of lay on the fact that it was going to be a real a step for us, to do something different. And it's a lot more static. It's well framed shots with kind of like where the color palette does most of the work and the imagery does most of the work, rather than the energy of the performance. It's kind of about the whole aesthetic as a whole. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The video is, if you're watching right now and you have not seen this video, go to YouTube right after we're live here and check it out. It's doing so well, YouTube even tweeted it out.
They did.
That's
yeah.
pretty wild.
That
That
was
was
kind of
ridiculous
crazy.
seeing that.
Yeah.
Wild.
Yeah.
And I want to talk about YouTube and the views you guys are getting on these videos, because something that, it's I guess it's pretty common these days, right, to release a couple songs or singles, whatever you want to call these things, before the album's out, which you guys did. But what isn't common is these views are going up at like an incredible rate from the first video you put out.
Yeah, it's
to
interesting,
the second
like,
to now.
Each one has gotten like
More than the last.
more
yeah,
than like
it's
double than the
Yeah.
last. Like, we did the first two, and it was like, oh wow, that's really amazing. And then we did Motion Sickness, and we're getting all these emails from our label like it's doing this many, and it's like, wow, that's even better. And then In Bloom's
Yeah,
obviously gone
every
on.
song's beating every record that's ever existed for Neck Deep. Which and then every other time it's kind of like, this next one's probably not going to do as good, but it's going to do great. And then out of nowhere, it beats it again, and it's
Yeah.
kind of just
Do you
surprising.
feel that? Like, you can see it in the numbers, but do you just feel this sort of groundswell happening with the popularity of your band? Because
Oh.
it's pretty astounding.
It's something that we never expected. Like, writing this record, we knew that like people would like it and that our fans would like it, and we'd be able to continue being a band and keep doing what we're doing. But for it to be getting the response that it is getting now, it's wild. Yeah, it's just, there's kind of scenarios running through your head that you would have never even considered, 6 months ago, and now hearing what people think and seeing things like the amount of views it's getting and the amount of traction it's gaining is kind of like, wow, this could actually be something, start something really, really big.
I'm really excited to like start touring the new album and
Right.
stuff. Just
Hearing the fans sing it
how
back to you,
translates
right?
Live. Yeah, see if people actually come out. All these people that are listening to our music online and stuff. So
That's gonna be rad, man.
Yeah.
I thought it'd be fun because there are so many great songs on the record and a bunch of songs that haven't been released yet. Obviously, the fans watching right now can hear it tomorrow. But maybe go down the line and talk about your favorite song on this album and why.
It's probably again like In Bloom or Parachute. In Bloom was like the start, like Phil said, in end of 2015. That was the first thing that was going to be like, this is the most solid thing that's ever existed. This is obviously going on the album. And from that moment, it was just excitement to get it in. And like Phil said, like it never dropped excitement. We got in the studio and it was like, I can't wait till we open that song. And we did it really late into tracking as well. We did maybe 6, 7 songs, 8 songs maybe, until we actually finally opened that one. It was like, finally, like we got to do this. And Parachute, because that was a song where we went to a studio in Wales to all like collaborate and try and like write as a group rather than individually at a computer. So it was a very different experience for us all. And one of the only songs we kind of like really kind of worked together on was Parachute. And we kind of like pulled that out of the air after like a bit of an argument, a bit of like everyone kind of had to leave the place and everyone goes separate because it was all getting heated and like, this idea, and it was getting a bit crazy. And that song came out of it, and then obviously we were like, this is definitely a contender for the album. So when we got into the studio and really like pulled it apart and made it what it is, it was sick to see that was almost the starting point and it made it onto the album. So that felt good.
Yeah, I think, like you said, In Bloom, Parachute probably be the ones for me too. Parachute especially, just because I can so vividly remember the whole process and like how it happened. And we were in Mono Valley Studios, like writing, which is where like Oasis had done a bunch of like recording and writing. And we called that song for the longest time, it was called Britpop, because it was like, it was way more kind of acousticy Britpoppy vibe when we started, and then because Ben had kind of got the bare bones of it, and then I mean we went to the computer and me and Sam kind of pop punked it up a little bit, and until it kind of had a title and a theme, it was just referred to as Britpop, and I still call it that, to be honest. I'm like, oh, Britpop, yeah. And I don't know. I just have good memories of that song, and I think it came out good.
Seb and Laura to thank for that as well, because they
Yeah.
pulled. We were all like heated, and they basically pulled us outside and was like, right, no computers, acoustic guitar, let's go.
Yeah.
No computer until you figured this song out.
I think that was the night I caught a fish too. And that was
Yeah.
pretty sick.
The only
In
catch
Mono
of the
Valley, there was
entire
like this
stuff.
little lake, and we had like fishing rods and stuff, and we fished every day for hours, and nobody caught anything. And
It
I'm
was the
like,
most bare bones fishing equipment as well. It was
Yeah.
literally like a
You didn't
hook,
even
and
have
that was
any
it.
bait on it.
Yeah, no
yeah,
bait.
and
then
then
he
like
caught
on
it
one
and
of the
was like,
last days,
"What do I do? What
I
do
just
I
like
do?"
cast out, and I caught this huge fish, and we all freaked out. I was well. Everyone's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Well, I didn't actually think I was going to catch anything. I don't know what to do with a fish once you've caught it. Like, no one taught me through that part. I was just screaming with a fish on a
I'll
hook.
tell you right bangers. You catch fish, scream
fish
about it,
and-
and then there you go. Yeah.
That's the secret recipe.
Yeah.
I'd probably say 1970 something is my favorite. Well, yeah, my favorite song on the record. From when I first heard the chord progression, before I even heard the lyrics, I was just like, it's just super catchy, super different and stuff. And then like hearing the instrumental get put together, like I was just super excited for it, and I knew that he had something special for it. So like, I was waiting for that one. I remember when he recorded it, like hearing it for the first time, just being like,
Together.
lyrically, like it's just incredible as well. Like it's a really good piece of music. Like not toot my own horn or anything, or Ben's horn, whatever. But like, it's sick. It's fantastic. It's a great song. So yeah, I'd say
That's
that.
awesome.
I would probably say either The Grand Illusion or maybe 1970 something, just to throw something different out there. But yeah, The Grand Illusion I think is one of my favorite songs, just because of how well it came together. I remember that song particularly. I was like stressing over, like really bad, like yeah, days and days and days. Like I was ready to fully obliterate my
dropped it
computer
at
after
some
that.
point.
Did we say like let's leave it? We're not
we
gonna.
were like,
it's
we're not
gonna
gonna have that song, and then we walked in the studio one day, and Mike Green was like, "You should really reopen this track. It's
Yeah.
great."
Yeah.
And we changed like a few bits, and then you were like, "Oh, I've got this idea now."
Yeah, I struggled with that for a long time, and just like, and because I was struggling with it, that's what I ended up writing about. You know, I ended up writing about stress and anxiety and kind of like, you know, frustration and yeah, all this kind of negativity came out of me into this song, you know, and I was getting so frustrated because I didn't know what to write about when really I should have just wrote about how I was feeling, and I did, and it came out great. And then 1970 something is obviously like super personal to me, and I'm just stoked that was another one that I took my time with and wanted to get it right, and yeah, luckily did get it. I think I got it pretty good. I mean, if it was down to me, that song would be forever, and I would have gone on forever. But I condensed it into what it was, and yeah, honestly, that's like the best tribute I could have made to my dad and stuff. So I'm very stoked on that. Yeah.
Mine would probably be In Bloom or Motion Sickness.
Right on.
In Bloom, just because it's like a hit.
Yeah.
It's just a good song. It is.
If he
It
can say
is.
so himself, right?
It is, yeah. And
No, it is. It
Motion
really is.
Sickness, just because of the fat riff at the beginning of it.
Yeah.
Literally.
From day one, that's been your track, though, Motion.
By the way, I meant to tell you, I'm bummed you don't have the "Kill Me Please" bass.
Oh.
yeah.
We should have brought it with us.
Yeah. That and the "Kill Me Please" bass from the videos are pretty rad.
That's become a little
we
meme.
took that off now because I have that gold-plated thing there instead now. I'm gonna have to bring it back. Yeah.
Yeah, you
Oh,
need
you
the
got
"Kill
it.
Me
It was like
Please"
the most
back.
popular thing in the
Merch item,
comments.
so you
Everyone
can buy
loved the
this.
"Kill Me Please."
Well,
Yeah.
he was like, should I take this off? And he was like, no, you're good, you're
He's
good.
like, I love it. It's so cool.
Get a
I was
real
like,
tight
all
close up
right,
of that.
Signature bass, just saying.
mate.
Yo,
Danny Ball,
signature
let's
bass
go.
like engraved in there.
Let's
yeah.
go.
Yeah.
You
guys
guys remember
are-
when we got the cut of the video too? I like said to our manager, I was like, "Are you sure about this?" Like, I put that on, and it was on my bass while we were touring for ages, and I just like forgot it was there.
Yeah.
And he was like, "No, it's cool, man. It's
Cool, leave it.
Yeah. It's sick. It's
It was a good
It's a good
call.
meme. It's a good meme. Yeah.
Strong meme, spicy meme, dude.
Spicy maybe. Speaking of spicy, maybe we're talking pizza tomorrow. You guys are doing something really cool with fans.
We are.
Do you know the details on this? Can we tell
We
them?
do. So what you do is you go and buy the album, cheeky plug, and you get with all your mates or your pets or your family or whatever, and you tweet or Instagram or Snapchat a picture of you listening to it
Or
with the
video.
hashtag or video
Yeah,
or whatever, with the hashtag the pizza and the panic.
Mm-hmm.
See what we did there. And then we're gonna kind of a bunch of them are gonna get picked to win, and they're gonna have a pizza delivered to their house, and some very special people might have us deliver the pizza.
more creative ones and the more interesting ones are more likely to win.
And
Yeah.
cheeky cheat code. I feel like the ones with the most interesting pets are probably going to win.
Yeah, you can't just order a pizza via Instagram. Like it's not
Yeah.
just you can't just say I want a pizza, give it to me.
So,
So,
some
yeah.
people are going
do
to
something
show up
cool.
at their house with pizza. And hopefully they're excited about it. I mean,
And I'm sure this will be documented on your social media.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
This will be pretty cool to check out. That's happening tomorrow on album release day. Guys, thanks so much for stopping by. I do want to mention before we go here on Billboard Live that tickets are on sale for tour. Tour kicks off in January, early next year. You can check out Neck Deep's socials for that. Of course, is it neckdeepuk.com?
Yeah.
Right on. That's the website. Guys, thank you so much, and best of luck with this record. It
Thank
sounds
you very
awesome.
much.
Very much.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thanks for watching, guys.